If one were to take the totality of human existence and add up all our collective triumphs and our collective failures, one would be left with a single inevitable conclusion, that we have come so very far and yet have learned so very little. Such a shame our lives can be summed up by such a stupid proverb. From Cain slaying Abel to commissars demanding super heavy battle tanks drive closer while holding a chainsword, the visceral finality and appeal of melee combat is hard to deny. It's not a coincidence that the Hatchet Man, an otherwise kind of mediocre inner sphere battle mech, is one of the most frequently portrayed stompy boys in sourcebook art. Maybe the allure is found in its sleek full head ejection system, but I suspect it's more likely the name and the obvious blunt force weapon in the right arm. Melee combat in BattleTech can be incredibly fun, and more than a few favorite stories involve it in one way, shape, or form. Of all the battle mechs known for their melee weapon, the one I'm most fond of and think of even before the Hatchet Man is the NightSky. Not because of its history or even the weapon's loadout, it's that swagger in the 3055 technical readout. Somehow the art just perfectly captures the kind of popped collar confidence that a 50-ton weapon of war with a hatchet in its arm should convey. It's a battle mech that can confidently kick sand in your face at the beach, steal your girl, and you won't even be that mad about it. The NGS-4S NightSky was conceived in the traumatized wake of the clan invasion. Scouring the battle reports and technical capabilities of the Lyran Commonwealth, designers and generals were eager to find any possible advantage against these clanners who seemed to have a near alien level of technology. The answer? Well, one of the answers was found in the pattern of behavior across many battles. The clan Mechwarriors seemed to actively avoid closing with their targets and were often thrown off when Inner Sphere Mechwarriors closed in to engage in physical combat. The Federated Commonwealth Hatchet Man was overperforming, so it was a no-brainer for Defiance Industries to step up and create a mech similar to it, but with all the technological bells and whistles that could make up for what the Hatchet Man was lacking. Already producing the Hatchet Man, Griffin, Atlas, Enforcer, and Zeus battle mechs, Defiance Industries needed to keep innovating to maintain its market share of Fedcom defense contracts. The NightSky was going to be a profitable linchpin in the effort to bring the fight to the clans and force them out of their tactical comfort zones. To bring the mech to the battlefield quickly, the existing production line for the Chameleon was repurposed. Sorry fans of the Chameleon, I feel your pain. Weighing in at 50 tons with a standard Darwinian steel frame, the NightSky had to be built with jarring and extreme stresses in mind, not just to be able to survive physical combat, but also to take advantage of the Hildco Model 13 jump jets, which allowed the mech to leap up to 180 meters. The Vlar 300XL engine pushed the NightSky's top speed up to 97 kilometers per hour, which was a direct response to complaints about the Hatchet Man's slow speed. Getting up close and delivering both weapons fire and the hatchet was key to the design philosophy. The NightSky also featured a full head ejection system similar to that of the Hatchet Man. The 9.5 tons of standard Callan Royal Star armor isn't as much as I would like to see from a short-range brawling medium mech, but it's not egregious. As far as weaponry goes, the primary ranged weapon is a Sutal Precision Align large pulse laser. While definitely not as fun as the clan version, the Inner Sphere LPL still hits for a decent 9 damage, going out to 10 hexes. Backing it up are 2 medium pulse lasers, found one in each side torso, and a small pulse laser for up-close conflict resolution. The star of the show, of course, is the mech's hatchet, which can deliver 10 damage upon a successful swing, ideally into an enemy mech's cockpit. One of the cool little background bits of knowledge for the NightSky is that the built-in hatchet was available in either right or left-handed version, which is nice for the southpaws out there, and to add a little bit of unpredictability should you encounter one in the battlefield. You wouldn't necessarily automatically know which was the most dangerous arm when you bump into one in a dark alley. With just 11 double heat sinks, you're going to have to show some firing discipline to avoid issues with heat generation in the NightSky 4S, with the all-energy weapon setup. It's just the price of creating a mech designed to operate in the field for extended periods of time. What we're left with here is a speedy 50-ton battle mech that really needs to get in close on a target to be effective. It lacks the bit of oomph that the Hatchet Man's AC-10 offered, but more than makes up for it with speed and agility. If the mech has any flaws, it's the complete lack of any long or mid-range weaponry and the lighter than expected armor distribution. The Inner Sphere XL engine is also a bit of a liability, but that was the price of getting it up and moving so quickly. Now, these drawbacks can be mitigated to some extent through savvy tactics, but it's something to be aware of if you're going to hop into a NightSky and take it out for a spin around the galaxy. The first units rolled off the assembly lines on Hesperus II in 3053, and very quickly the mech saw high demand from Federated Commonwealth units. Distribution was fairly equal between the Davion and Steiner halves of the Commonwealth before the FedCom Civil War. Battle reports were favorable, and the NightSky was popular with Mechwarriors who were previously piloting Hatchetmen or X-Men and became dispossessed during the first decade of the clan invasion. During Operation Bulldog, Lieutenant Osias Eisenberg piloted a NightSky against Smoke Jaguars from the Epsilon Galaxy Command Trinary. The NightSky's mobility allowed Eisenberg to close in on a Fenris and rake it with pulse laser fire before finishing it off with a hatchet strike against the cockpit. While this wouldn't have initially been that noteworthy in the conflict, it was later determined that the Mechwarrior he killed on that attack was a prominent clan Smoke Jaguar star commander. The mech continued to perform well into the 3070s and beyond. Archived battle ROM footage from the retaking of Tharkad on January 11, 3072, shows a pair of Lyran NightSkys trading fire with the Word of Blake. Over time, as with all battle mechs, there were variants created to either address shortcomings or keep up with technology, or even to fit in with specific mission profiles. Thankfully, all the NightSky variants retain that armed hatchet. The NightSky NGS-4T variant was first spotted in 3056, and it's pretty clear that it was created to address the original mech's two most glaring flaws. The arm-mounted large pulse laser is swapped out for an ER large laser, which more than doubles the mech's range while buying enough weight for an anti-missile system, which partially mitigates the issue with the NightSky's lighter armor. In my own games, I tend to run the 4T more often than the 4S because it's a much more well-rounded battle mech. Plus, anti-missile systems are fun. If you haven't run the mech at all before, I would recommend this variant as a place to start. Now that we're looking good, let's ruin it with the NGS-5S NightSky, which was introduced in 3056. Leaving the original weapons in place, the mech's jump jets are coldly and callously removed in favor of adding 3 additional double heat sinks. While this does address the mech's slightly inconvenient heat generation issues, it steals away a significant amount of mobility. This is a variant for people who don't understand what the NightSky is for. This variant needs to go sit in the punishment box till it can articulate what it did wrong and how it plans to make things right. Now in 3057, the NGS-5T NightSky thankfully has its jump jets back, so apparently someone learned their lesson. The only difference between the 5T and the original is a replacement of the large pulse laser with an ER PPC. While this does make the mech more dangerous at all ranges, it also makes watching your heat a little bit more important. It's a fine variant, and the choice between the 5T and the 4T may just be your preference for ER PPCs over ER large lasers, and I'd lean in toward the 4T, but to each their own. Now things start to get interesting with the NGS-6S NightSky introduced in 3066. Highlighting the light engine technology, this NightSky is much more survivable with only 2 engine criticals in each of the side torsos without having to give up its top speed. The pulse lasers are sacrificed in favor of 7 ER medium lasers, which can reach out and punch for up to 35 damage at 12 hexes, which is pretty respectable. The downside is that 35 heat from firing all 7 of those lasers is going to put you in the red by 13 heat. Alpha striking may just be a sometimes thing as a little treat. Overall, the 6S is solid and going to be able to live much longer than the previous variants on average. The 3067 NGS-6T NightSky variant takes advantage of triple strength myomer to boost the possible top speed of the mech to 11 hexes or just shy of 119 km per hour. However, the most entertaining bit of the TS myomer is that it doubles the damage of a hatchet attack up to 20. Now that is a hatchet hit to remember. The 6T also sacrifices one of the medium pulse lasers in exchange for an ER medium laser and 2 ER small lasers. It doesn't have the light engine, which would have been nice, and the weapons changes are middling. If you're really into triple strength myomer, or you really want to use that hatchet to great effect, this NightSky variant could be for you. For our Dark Age ilClan era variant, the NGS-7S, the NightSky utilizes new technologies, though the most important is the use of a Clan XL engine. This improves the mech's lifespan on the battlefield, which is really nice. Though I do wonder where Defiance is getting the tech for those Clan XL engines. Clan Fox, is that you? The large pulse laser has received an upgrade to a large X pulse laser, which improves the range a bit at the cost of some additional heat. The medium pulse lasers were swapped for ER medium lasers, and the small pulse laser is now a small X pulse laser with a range out to 5 hexes. The use of heavy ferrofibrous armor also slightly improves the mech's survivability. Finally, the installation of an actuator enhancement system in the hatchet arm gives the Mechwarrior improved control of the weapon, which results in more accurate strikes. For those playing the tabletop game, that's a -1 to your 2-hit physical attack rolls with the hatchet. The 7S's 13 double heat sinks do a fair job of managing the heat, though you can't be alpha striking every turn. Overall, I like the 7S NightSky, and I think all the upgrades make sense. It's so rare that we get to say that about the Dark Age ilClan era refits. Let's just take a moment to appreciate it. There, that's good. Now, just because it's becoming a bit of a tradition, I did take a crack at my own ilClan era NightSky. The NGS MF NightSky is also a mixed technology, though I didn't go overboard. I did upgrade to the Clan XL engine, which bought some space in the mech, along with an upgrade to the Inner Sphere Endosteel. With the overall vision of a tough, speedy brawler, in the left arm, the NightSky gets a Clan large pulse laser, extending the reach out to 20 deadly hexes. An Inner Sphere anti-missile system is added to protect the 11 tons of standard armor, which is an extra 1.5 tons from the original mech. Backing up the LPL are 4 Inner Sphere small pulse lasers split between the side torsos. For extremely close-range hugs, a Clan flamer in the head can make for a warm campfire discussion. Of course, the hatchet remains, it just wouldn't be a NightSky without it. The 12 double heat sinks will do a decent job of keeping the mech cool, though once you're within the 3 hexes, you may have to lay off 1 or more of the pulse lasers on alternating turns, or be more conservative with the use of the flamer. I think the MF NightSky would be terrifying if you can keep it out of sight and speeding toward its target. Even out in the open, it's going to be pretty tough to take down before it starts to hack away at its targets with the hatchet. Now, the temptation was strong to try this out, so I ended up running 2 games of Mega Mech using the MF variant. In the first game, the NightSky faced the Griffin 2C Prime. The anti-missile system performed well against the Griffin's modest LRM-5 fire, but the star of the show was the large pulse laser. Being able to jump close allowed the NightSky to get into small pulse laser range, and from there on, the damage to the Griffin piled up pretty quickly. I flubbed the opportunity to attack with the hatchet in the first game, and the Griffin 2C ended up fleeing the battle shortly after. In the second game, I pitted the NightSky against a Grendel Prime with its medley of ER lasers. The NightSky continued to hop everywhere it needed to go, but kept losing the initiative rolls, so it wasn't until later when I could get a good hatchet swing on the left arm, which actually cut into the mech's internal structure. After that physical attack, with both mechs having pummeled each other with laser fire, I lost the initiative again and jumped back toward the middle of the map for some tree cover. The Grendel took the opportunity to flee the battlefield. 2-0, not too shabby. So why do we love the NightSky? Besides that swagger, damn that swagger. It's just a solid 50-ton battle mech carrying that hatchet with some really good variants, including the most recent ilClan one, which demonstrates the increasing overlap between Clan and Inner Sphere technology. Of course, hitting things with a hatchet will always be fun. What's your hatchet in BattleTech story? Most people have one. Share it below, I want to hear it. Will you take a NightSky into battle, or are you a hatchet man purist? Is there a piece of OG BattleTech artwork that's more awesome than the original NightSkys? I doubt it. Thanks as always for coming out today while we talked some BattleTech. Do remember to hit all the buttons if you felt the video was worthy and want to see more. Extra thanks to channel members who go that extra amazing step to directly supporting the channel with a few bucks so that I can keep the nonsense flowing. I really do appreciate it. Now take care and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.